Hello folks, Richard Moore. And I'm going to bring you a story that, when I bring these stories, folks, it's never easy. It's never easy. So, I talk a lot about exposing corruption, and as a citizens reporter for the National Brady List, that link will be provided in the description area. And this is where the playing field can actually be leveled. You can use our link. As a matter of fact, I'm the only citizen reporter for the National Brady List in the state of Mississippi. The agencies, attorneys, the Mississippi Bar, judges, etc., all, according to settled law, the Supreme Court ruling, Brady versus Maryland, the 1962 ruling, it's incumbent on them to keep checks and balances on misconduct and so forth. So what I'm saying is, you as a citizen can go in and use this link and report these things, and then that triggers all of the right things to go in and to the Office of Public Integrity and so forth. Not saying that Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch and her Public Integrity Unit will do anything, but this is exculpatory evidence. And so those that may find themselves in a courtroom due to a bogus charge or what have you, and the individual that is involved or initiated that happens to have an integrity issue, then you would get that information from the Brady List, and it can and is absolutely acceptable and something that can be used in a legal proceeding, including a trial. And folks, once you know what keeps law enforcement, judges and prosecutors in their jobs, is this presumption of integrity, of unbiased integrity. And as well, many of you know that that is like a needle in a haystack. Integrity is like virginity. Once it's gone, it's gone. But unless you do your part in the community by keeping your mouth shut and by not disclosing these things, and you can also make these reports anonymously. This is the reason we have an unlevel playing field, because law enforcement, a COPS program, and this multi-jurisdictional task force ran by the DEA, it's not just about drugs. Believe that. This is about control and depopulation, and, well, and if we don't like your loud music, then we may stalk and creep and do everything we can to run you out of town. Really? In America? All right. I'm going to talk to you about murder, and that takes us right back to the killing fields of Rose Hill, which is Okolona, Mississippi. This is about the murder of Rufus Homer Porter, 33 years old. I mean, folks, he's still a kid, 33 years old. Well, who murdered Homer? Well, Christine Porter, his wife. Christine's been married twice. Killed her first husband, walked. She's killed her second husband. And guess what? She walks. Why, the chief of police, Uncle Tommy Ivy, and Sherry Berry, the assistant chief, is, other than the fact that, of course, Uncle Tommy can't read or write, he's the chief. And it's unfortunate. I'm not making light of the fact he can't read or write, but he's the chief of police. I think that would, especially with this unprecedented rate of crimes, murders, people dropping like flies. Now, they arrested a few people here and there for drugs and stuff like that, but don't let that fool you, folks. All that is a recruiting mechanism to turn them loose and put them to work. It ain't got nothing to do with trying to get drugs off the street. Oh, my God. If crime stops, then they don't have a job. And, of course, Sherry Harden, hating men, and maybe has a more of a proclivity to for women. I would say that that's probably the deal. And so her husband is, or ex now, has realized that he had been duped and can't get away quick enough. So, Homer was at his mother's house, not at the house that he and Christine were staying in. So Christine leaves that house and comes to Homer's mama's house with a gun and unloaded it on him. Now, the newspaper reports that a 911 call was made claiming there was a social disturbance, wherever that is. Well, that it was not, I think this is what the original report said. She was charged, Christine did get charged with first-degree murder. Oh, yeah. It says Assistant Chief Sherry Harden says Porter called and reported disturbance at her home. A short time later, Porter showed up at the police station. Well, we come to find out that that was a lie. And as a matter of fact, let's see, well, some of the family members tried to get that corrected. And of course, the Daily Journal and the Columbus Dispatch and Commercial Appeal, wherever you want to go, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to print one thing. And that's what the police tell them. Whatever lie they tell them, they print it. Now, if you try as a customer and a citizen to, let's clear the record here. Obviously, you don't want to just have lies printed and mistakes and stuff like that. Well, they immediately stonewall you. Well, we hadn't got anything from them, and so until we do, it stays as it is. Well, how about investigating this and do a story on it? Sherry Harden said this was it, so that's it. There's nothing to investigate. So that's the deal, folks. That's the deal. That is the deal. Now, I can tell you this, that, well, I said my files fall. That is, God tell me to get on with it. My dog was carried on and everybody's worked up. Now, so Rufus was at his mama's house. She'd been living there 25 years. Now, folks, can you imagine being at your house, a mother or dad, your child's there, and he is trying to avoid this conflict with this woman that has had multiple domestic violence charges against her. Let's not get this mixed up. He beat her and all this stuff, and she just couldn't take it anymore. Well, we're going to get away from that bullshit right off the rip, okay? She's got a record. Domestic violence. She's a brawler. And not only that, she's got monkeys on her back. When I'm talking about monkeys on her back, she's got habits. So, dope is not an issue or a problem with her getting her hands on it and staying on it. Thanks to Uncle Tommy Ivy and Sherry Harden, that's trying to clean up the town, my ass. So, Christine's arrested, $750,000 bond that I promise you that she couldn't make and did make, but she walked out of that jail. Now, you might remember the story if you haven't watched that video or know anything about Malcolm King Boone and how he was murdered in cold blood in Okolona. We had the same cast of actors and law enforcement that managed to, all the way to the prosecutor's office, the district attorney, Ben Creekmore, and the assistant district attorneys, that it's their job to uphold the laws of the state of Mississippi and the United States of America, and this is the oath they took to defend that Constitution and to enforce the laws, and this means everybody, white, black, young, old, period. It's not their call to make that to enforce the laws that they like the cases they want, and the stuff they don't want to prosecute, they don't prosecute it. Now, when it comes to someone being murdered, it's expensive, it's time consuming, it requires them to work, research and prepare, and to try these cases that puts them in a spotlight of, because no attorney wants to publicly try a case and lose. And so it hurts their feelings, and it makes them look bad and are incompetent. And I can tell you, they measure these things. I'm going to have some good attorneys out that I'm going to come, and it's just going to be something that I'm not prepared for, or nor could ever prepare for. I'm good at getting elected. That's what I'm good at. And telling people how I'm going to do stuff. And we'll get plenty of arrests and indictment stuff, and the newspaper is going to make sure that makes the headlines, and we're going to keep everybody in step. So the process of the prosecutor taking this case, it's open and shut. She came to his house, to his mother's house, killed him, left, and then called 911, and then she went over there to the police station. They didn't have to go get her. Now, folks, I'm going to tell you, I don't know how it is where you are, but this is somebody that has not her first rodeo with law enforcement. And now she's just done what she did, and she just goes on her own over there. So I think it looks to me like it was all ceremonial. I'm convinced that Christine was not worried about a thing, my friend. Now, what? You said, well, that's got to be just an evil person. Well, more than that. More than that. It reeks. It reeks of a person that's snitching and ratting. And they better not make a charge on me real. I'll go through the hoops and make it look, I'll play that game, but if it gets real, then of course that rat's going to get real too. And they really can't afford that. Because some of these people have got pristine records. Not even had a speeding ticket. Pillars of the community. Talking about getting some heads knocked off. That's what they're protecting. But as far as you or I, you assume that, well, murder, that's a big deal. They should take it serious. Are you kidding me? Are you really? Yeah, they should. But they don't. They don't. I've done too many of these. At Chickasaw County, and Okolona somehow is becoming ground zero. This is the killing fields of Rose Hill. I've been talking about for months. There's several videos of unsolved deaths. Well, they're not listed as unsolved because even this murder here is solved. We know who did it, and they did not get an indictment, so that means Christine walks. Why didn't they? How could they not get an indictment? Said there wasn't enough evidence. We know, folks, that, and this is a fact. Ask any attorney you want about this fact. You can indict a ham sandwich for being a ham sandwich. It is a low bar. You can't introduce exculpatory evidence. All you do, there's 23 people in this grand jury, is the prosecutor will paint this as indict them or don't indict them. Folks, we got this here, and there's other things going on. You know, he said, she said, and all that. You decide if you want to formally charge. Well, we'll make us enough evidence. That's what I thought. Next, and that's how that goes, folks. Now, let's say that Homer's family said, well, Mr. Prosecutor, look, when you present this to grand jury, we would like for our personal attorney to be present to kind of witness this, and where he can report back to us what went on in there. Nah, we can't do that. Nope, nope, nope. That's right, folks. Well, can we go in there? Nope. Isn't that something? So we don't know who was in there. We don't know what. You will never get the transcripts of what was actually said. Okay. So there you have it. Malcolm King Boone, murdered, cold blood. But they couldn't indict the murderer. Eyewitnesses, same deal. Same deal. So, what is the deal, folks? The deal is that we've got corruption from the highest levels all the way down to the drips in Okolona. And that police station there in Okolona serves as one thing. When you see a person come in there and go out, they don't house prisoners there. None of these, look, see, they all go to the county jail. Now, for capital murder, or anything else, but when you see them come in there, I've told of another story of an individual that attacked and assaulted an Okolona police officer from behind. And he was there for a domestic disturbance, and then he gets jumped and had to tase him, cuff him, and before it was time for the shift to change, Chief Tommy Ivy turned him loose because he told them some things they needed to hear. I think that that priority. So I'm thinking, well, this person must have gave them, and I've named his name. He must have gave them the name of the Zodiac killer and where he lived or something. A murderer and all this and all that. But we know that couldn't be it because they don't give a shit about who killed who. We already know that. We know that. And they're not going to do anything about it. So I have no idea what he gave them. There's it's not that much going on in Okolona that they don't already have their hands in. I mean, they do have to make these drug busts and arrests, and I mean, we know that because BJ, one of the officers there, he's got, the way I understand it, a pretty long clientele list of people that want drugs. And including the ones that are underage and sex. But, that's not important. What's important is Sherry Harden doing a speech down at the elementary school on how we want to keep our community safe. Well, it's kind of be hard to do when you got the Manson family running the deal. If you look any further than the city attorney, Gene Barton. I mean, I'm sure he's a good attorney. But anybody that's ever been around him or met him, you can get a Webster's dictionary and go to weird or weirdo and be his picture. The whole deal's creepy, folks, because it's corrupt. They're puppets. And the DEA love it. Hey, three-letter agencies roll in there. They're rolling out, yazzle mazzle, and so these people, the other ones that you think are running it, they're incompetent. And folks, that's not a figure of speech. That's not a figure of speech. No parent should ever outlive one of their children. No parent should ever have to witness and hear their child be massacred, murdered, and gunned down like an animal in their own home, only to be told, we can't do anything about it. We can't even get the newspaper to just print a simple correction. The Tupelo Daily Journal is a joke. Anybody subscribing to these deplorables are just as responsible for this crap as the ones that did it. That you've got blood on your hands. Those that are sitting by silent and say, well, just let things go. How you don't let it go? How do you let it go when somebody murders your brother, your son, your dad? Your child is how you let that go? You don't let it go. Now, we know that Sherry assistant chief, told one of the family members that she was just going through a divorce and she was having a hard time doing her job. She's doing her job. Her real job is a professional bullshit artist, a liar. She's not struggling with that at all. It's just that the people that happen to have bullshit meters are struggling with understanding that. Now, of course, you're wasting time trying to get Tommy Ivy to correct anything. They a misprint in there, and I mean, how's he gonna know it's misprinted? He's looking at pictures. Sherry's looking at other women. BJ's got some side deals that to give the creepiest creeps. How these people getting jobs? How they getting jobs and stuff? I mean, it's like you've got the audacity to get in. I'm paying for your car, that car that's got protect and serve on the side of it. Doesn't mean protect and serve your own self-interest, but that's what you're doing. So in your mind, that's really is what it. But we read that, we're assuming they're talking about to protect and serve. They're talking about me, us, the community. It's right there in your face. And they've got these outfits like commandos. And most of them shooting steroids and will tase and shoot you in a flash for not shutting up or whatever it is they want you to do when they stop you. Why'd you pull me over? You might get tased, shot. Well, they had a gun. I mean, Austin Hines, 19-year-old, he wouldn't pull over and stop. They filled him Bonnie and Clyde style, finished him off with a shotgun blast to the face. Nobody's been charged with that either. Law enforcement did that. They said he was going to do it. They did it. And there we have it. Folks, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. Unless you stand up and speak up, folks, we're going to still be in this quagmire here. We're going to be in this quagmire until you go to the polls. But I'm going to tell you, folks, these people do not get in office just because they ran. Any person that lives and votes in Okolona for the mayor, chief, and all those things, under these circumstances, come election time, if you don't change every single name tag in that town, then you're co-signing with murder is okay. Violating civil and constitutional rights, that's fine. I don't care if you go to a fake church with them or you kin to them or anything else. You will answer for it. You will answer for it. You can't say you didn't know. How many more people got to die before they get the memo on what I'm trying to say? I'm not financed by taxpayer dollars. The only reason that I'm here today is because God saw fit for me to be here today. Everything that you can do to an individual to destroy a person's life has been done to me by corrupt law enforcement. But these moron criminals that call themselves community policing and we want to have a safer neighborhood, these are the criminal creeps that immediately I'll do a story about someone and I'll get a message just it's subtle. How well do you know this person? And I stop it right there. What do you mean, how well do I know this person? You know where that's going next. Well, I bet you didn't know this. But it's that name, that person that, so you don't want to talk about the cop blowing the kid's brains out. You want to find out how well I knew the parents or something. So in other words, it's, that's how they operate. Inevitably, they want to make this, what I'm doing right now, about Richard Moore. But we're making it about Rufus Homer Porter. But unlike the Daily Journal and the prosecutor and these token police, I'm not going to shut up about it. And I'm not going to shut up when they decide, well, we're going to run Christina back in front of a grand jury here and do the right thing. Now, it wasn't a crime of passion. This was premeditated murder. She did not accidentally just stumble upon her husband's mother's house and find him there. He'd been staying away from her. I mean, you'd think that'd be a safe place. She barges in and murders him. I would think that she's already killed both of her husbands. And that's what we know of. But she's free right now in Okolona. And I don't know how anybody can be sleeping real cozy at night, knowing that her and several more, many more, just like her, are free right there in Okolona. And people kicking it up with them and kikiing and laughing like everything's okay. That makes me uncomfortable. It's not like, I don't know, you could get killed at any time. Well, I'm just telling you, that's true. But him, and her, and that one, and that one, and that one, that's what they do. And they've done it. And are they worried about repercussions? What? No. What you going to do, call the police? What are they going to do? Nothing. Folks, this is not the America that it's supposed to be, is it? And in the dirty South, it's still the dirty South. Now, it is what it is. And yes, the plantation looks different. And a lot of white folks hate it when I say this. You're just getting those people, we'll go with you people, stirred up. Let me tell you. No. These lives matter. All lives matter. Color is irrelevant. That Constitution matters. That oath you took matters. When you took that oath and put your hand on a Bible you hadn't read, to a God you don't believe in, to protect the Constitution that you hadn't read and think it's a piece of trash because you're doing things the other way. The workaround. The workaround. That must end. I encourage you to share, subscribe, and I offer my deepest condolences for the family. I don't know any of them personally. I haven't talked with any of them. It's very sad. And it continues to wear on me continuously, knowing that when a loved one is snatched tragically and brutally from this life, I know that many people will blame God. And folks, I caution you not to do that. I think you should give Satan himself the credit he deserves. All the way to the top. There wasn't enough evidence. We couldn't get an indictment. And I'm to believe that that individual that said that is a man of God. No. Because God doesn't co-sign a lie. God does not co-sign deceit, rumor campaigns, smear tactics, slight-handed dealings, underhanded dealings. He does not work in the element of entrapment, destroying families, oppression. That's all the works of the devil himself. And whatever's done in darkness will be shown in the light. And the Bible tells me to shout it from the rooftops. For me to continue shouting it from the rooftops, I need your help and support. That's in the comment section as well. Until next time, God bless you.